So one of the sweetest memories I have in my business was right after that first launch of Product Launch Formula. And again, this is this amazing, huge success for me. We had 600 new clients who bought my product. The product was $1,000. It was the start of a new business. It was so exciting. And so I wanted to do something special for them. So I had these postcards printed up. And I wanted to send out a postcard to each person that bought Product Launch Formula, to all my 600 new clients. And so and they were very simple postcards. They just said thank you. And on one side, it was just big, huge red letters, thank you. And on the other side, it was just, a very simple message for me. Hey, I'm just really excited that you joined me with Product Launch Formula. Thanks for the faith that you've shown in me. And I'm really excited about what you're going to do with Product Launch Formula. So it's something very super simple like that. But then what I did, so then we had 600 postcards that I had to get addressed and stamped, and I wanted to hand sign every single one of them. So what we did was, and by this time my kids were a little older, let's say, I don't want to say, like my son was probably around 15 and my daughter's probably around 12. And we sat down on the living room floor with this box of postcards, and we did a little production line. And it was the four of us, and I can't remember who did what, but one person would address, or maybe two people would address them, and one person would put the stamp on the postcards, and I would sign them. And we just sat there for, I don't know how, a couple hours or whatever to go through these. And it's just a joyous thing because this is the start of a new business. I was so overjoyed. I'd gone through this turmoil that I told you about, where I lost my original business and was having to rebuild from scratch. And it was just sort of a celebration with the family, because it wasn't like it wasn't like I had been crying in my soup about losing that business or telling my kids about what was happening. But I'm sure they sensed that things were changing, and that I had this big new thing that was coming out, and it was a really big deal. And certainly they knew the launch was happening, and they were super supportive of me during the launch. And of course, Mary knew everything that was going on. So it's just a celebration of us sitting there as a family on the living room floor, and basically addressing and stamping and signing 600 postcards to send out to our new clients. And it's interesting because I just have a ton of family involved in my business. And I had a question come in about this, asking about family in the business. And I've had people, very smart people, very accomplished people, one person I consider a mentor, and he's like, having family in your business is never going to be a positive, and it could be a negative because it makes things complicated. There's cross currents. And I will tell you that there are cross currents, and I'm going to name some of the people in my business, but I hope I don't forget. John, my brother, he's like one of my number one strategic advisors in the business. He also handles all my joint venture relationships, and he's my joint venture manager. And then, of course, Mary is in my business, and she's sort of a controller role. And then my son Daniel does my videos. He's not doing this one. He does my fancy videos that look really good. And then my sister-in-law Diane, she was our main event planner for the first dozen events we did or whatever, and she still plans our mastermind events and our smaller high-end events. And my daughter Joan, she isn't completely in the business, but we've pulled her in at times to help out. And then of course at times where we've had a big influx and we really needed help. We've even had my daughter's boyfriend and my son's girlfriend help us out. And boy, I hope I'm not forgetting anyone right now, but you get the idea. This has been a family business for us. And we now have a team, and we've grown up the team, but it is very family oriented. And I think that carries over so that our team ends up feeling like family. That's one of our success factors, we call it. We have a whole bunch of success factors that define how we work together as a team. And, there's sort of, where we sat down and intentionally said, this is how we're going to treat each other. This is how we're going to interact with each other. This is how we're going to hold each other accountable. And we had 9 success factors, and then my team went in sort of without my knowledge, and they determined we had a 10th success factor that they wrote down as, and it's we treat each other like family. And that's sort of what it is. And for me, I'm not a manager, I'm a leader for our team, but being a leader for our team, is not something that came naturally to me, and I really had to work at it. And I'll talk about that in another video. But so I don't know if this is the right way to do things, but I'm just telling you that's how we do things. We have a family, and I have a ton of family in my business. So for what it's worth, a lot of people were asking about that. I do know it's really been rewarding for us. It's super rewarding, especially the closest working relationship probably for me on a regular ongoing basis is with my son, because we get together every week and we shoot a blog video. And it's just an absolute joy to be able to work with him and go through this transition from when we started. He was simply, he was just starting out. And so he was more someone that pushed the button on the camera. And now he's turned into an incredible artist, videographer, photographer, and also my producer and my director. And so he'll actually coach me on how to say stuff in my videos. We'll get to the end of the video and he'll be like, "Okay, Dad, that's good. We got one in reserve. Let's try that one again," which is a very gentle way of saying you really sucked in that video. Let's do it again. So it's been just incredibly rewarding working with family, and lately, well, not lately, but for the last 5-6 years, working with my son in our videos. So I'm Jeff Walker. I'm sharing lessons learned from 20 years in business online. I'm shooting one video a day, releasing one video a day. If you think this could be helpful, share it with someone. Otherwise, scroll down, leave a comment for me wherever you're watching this, whether it's on my Facebook page or my YouTube channel or on my blog, and let's go get them this week.